Good afternoon, everyone. To harness the incredible power of AI, we all want to build high-value agentic workflows and experiences that work with our enterprise data. But to do that, we need the best agentic data platform. To earn the trust of our users, we need our agents to be highly accurate and also comply with the stringent privacy, security, and governance needs of our enterprise. Today in this session, we'll give you exactly that. I'm Amit Ganesh, and I'm joined here with me today, Yannis Papakonstantinou, my colleague at Google, and from Anthropic, David Soria Parra, the creator of the Model Context Protocol. In this session, we will start with our strategy with data and AI in the agentic era. Then Yannis will join us to dive into how AI-native databases are key to giving agents their superpowers. From there, we'll jump into how you can leverage our data agent platform to build your own agents. We'll then do a fireside chat with David, and then finally, we'll wrap by talking about our pre-built data agents from Google that you can use out of the box. We have so much exciting content to cover. Let's get going. We are in a truly transformative era for data and AI. For the first time in the 50-plus year history of databases, we are at a truly inflection point. The power of AI is transforming what databases can do, and customers are racing to take advantage of AI. They are integrating agents with enterprise data to create autonomous agentic systems that is going to transform every aspect of their business. However, legacy data architectures of today pose a big challenge in the adoption of agents in the enterprise. These systems are walled gardens of disconnected warehouses and siloed operational databases. This makes it hard for agents to be able to seamlessly access data from all the different sources. Even if agents have access to the data, agents need context. They need the semantic knowledge that helps give them the meaning of the data in the database, enabling them to be accurate and effective. Now, to use AI, today you have to move your data to AI. This creates a lag. Your agents are no longer working with the real-time state of your business. Additionally, doing manual integration increases cost and gives an additional time before you can actually bring those agents to life. What if instead you could move AI to data and break down those walls? At Google, we are doing exactly that. Our strategy is to have our world-class AI and data teams working together in the same company that have uniquely combined our state-of-the-art AI stack with our industry-leading data stack to create the best agentic data platform, one that integrates AI at every layer of the stack. For example, compute is no longer on just ARM or Intel processors. We bring in TPUs when you're doing inference as part of your database workload. We bring in models into SQL, and we're bringing data agents into the agentic layer. We are introducing a whole new category for the next decade, and we're calling it the agentic data cloud. This is a system of action for agents, not just a system of insights. It is AI native with the vertically integrated data and AI stack. It is flexible. It embraces open standards. You can use open source products like Postgres. You can run it anywhere. You can bring your own data, or you could even bring your own model and plug it into agentic data cloud. Most importantly, however, it is trusted. Being grounded in enterprises' semantic knowledge as context gets you the highest quality. And the agentic data platform comes with strict guardrails that force your agents to operate within the strict privacy, security, and governance standards needed by your enterprise. There are 3 key pillars of agentic data cloud that are crucial for you to leverage to help power your agents. Let's go into those. First, our AI-native databases have state-of-the-art AI models and capabilities built into the database for agents to utilize. These include multiple models of data, not just structured data. You could have images, you could have video converted into embeddings. You could have numeric data coming through time series, for example, or you could have data that is stored and represented as graph models. In addition to multiple modalities of data and the AI models for them being built into the database, we are also including multiple modalities of accessing and operating on that data. So for example, if you're working with time series, in the database now you can do forecasting and anomaly detection on that time series. If you're working with vectors and embeddings, you can do vector search. And most importantly, all these different accesses and modalities of working with multimodal data are available on a single unified platform in SQL. To give you one example of it, in close partnership with Google Research, we have introduced the Times FM foundational model. Similar to the large language model, this model has been pre-trained on time series. And it's a state-of-the-art model that can make what used to take minutes or, hours, days, or even months to do things like forecasting. Now you can literally do them in seconds using agents. The second big pillar is that of the data agent platform. Here we offer tools and frameworks to create agents that have at their disposal the trusted knowledge catalog. Think of this as the nerve center which contains your enterprise's context that agents use to operate with data. And it also includes a comprehensive suite of MCP tools and a state-of-the-art natural language interface to data. I'm really pleased to see our partnership with Anthropic, where Google, together with other companies such as Anthropic and AWS, are helping set the standard of the model context protocol and evolve the standard going forward. Additionally, Google also offers MCP Toolbox, an open source product where we invite community contribution to build and further use and adoption of MCP. In addition to state-of-the-art AI built into our AI-native databases and our data agent platform, we also offer a suite of pre-built agents for every aspect of the database, for builders, for operators of databases, as well as for business users through conversational analytics. Now, when it comes to conversational analytics, agents need natural language as the language of interaction. So I am really thrilled to share that Google holds the #1 spot in the industry standard BERT benchmark leaderboard for natural language to SQL. Through our conversational analytics agent and platform, we are enabling high-quality conversational experiences for users as well. I'm excited to welcome Yannis to join me on stage to dive through those pillars, starting with the AI-native database.
Thank you, Amit. An AI-native database doesn't just store data. It natively processes and understands the data using built-in AI primitives. Thus, your agents can issue SQL queries that search over the combination of your structured data, text data, images, and videos, and get high-quality results by combining SQL with the power of foundation models. And it's not only search. As Amit told you, using AI functions such as forecast, and a few more that we will talk later, You can predict time series and bring the power of Gemini to your data. AlloyDB is an AI-native database purpose-built for the agentic era. We have taken 100% PostgreSQL compatibility and added to it Google's advanced innovations. The result is a true powerhouse, a single destination that serves as your relational store, your high-performance vector store, and an analytics engine that's 100 times faster than standard Postgres. Another game changer of AlloyDB is the AlloyDB Omni. It gives you the freedom to take the same cloud-grade power and run it anywhere, on-premise, on any cloud, or even on your local laptop. AlloyDB provides a powerful AI search layer that combines SQL, classic text search, graph search, and the power of foundation models through vector search and AI functions. Why do you need this combination? Because today, keyword search is not enough to meet end-user demands. For example, when your customer looks for summer search, the top results you see on the screen may not even have the keyword summer, but they nevertheless capture the customer's intent, such as clothing materials like linen and cotton. Today, the search experience has to be holistic and understand the user intent. And how does AlloyDB achieve this? Step one, industry-leading vector search. AlloyDB differentiated since 2024 over open source Postgres by not just providing plain PG vector support, but also bringing to AlloyDB Google's proprietary scan index, the one that is behind Google Search, YouTube, and many other properties. This provided all the wonderful performance gains that you see on this slide. And we have more coming at this next. First, we have support for 10 billion plus vectors with scan. Second, we are boosting PG vector HNSW with AlloyDB's columnar engine technology to provide up to 4 times faster vector search over standard PG vector without you having to make any changes over your PG vector HNSW configuration. At this point, you may ask, why do we perfect not just one, but 2 types of indices, scan and HNSW? Because AlloyDB's goal is to provide you the best-in-class vector search experience for your use case. And stay tuned, we are on a path to making the index type just an implementation detail. Now, you often need more than just vector search. You need hybrid search. AlloyDB acts as a unified backend, giving you hybrid search, which means combination of vector search with full text search. Among the many features that are coming up, I'd like to highlight the state-of-the-art BM25 ranking that gives you high-quality text search results and, in turn, high-quality hybrid search results. In the query example here, we see the new hybrid search UDF that combines results from AlloyDB vector search and AlloyDB text search directly into SQL. And AlloyDB did not stop on hybrid search. It also brings you powerful AI functions to complement your AI search journey. AI functions bring to your data and your searches the nuanced understanding and word knowledge of Gemini. Let me give a concrete example. What if on your retail site, your customer searches for comfortable search for a summer in Santorini? Your database likely does not know where Santorini is or what the weather will be like in Santorini. But AI functions have this knowledge through Gemini. And AlloyDB brings you this power directly into its SQL. A common pattern that we see is hybrid search gives you the first top 1,000, 2,000 result candidates for your customer's question. And then you re-rank these candidates based on, in our example's case, their fit for a Santorini summer, using the AI.rank function. The best part is about the ease of use. You can program AI functions using natural language, as shown in the example. AlloyDB also has a non-LLM faster version of the rank function powered by Google Cloud's leading semantic ranker. And this is just an example. We have more generally available LLM-based AI functions today that can be used for search. AI.if for filtering, AI.generate to create interesting annotations and explanations that personalize the results to your user's question, and, as I said, rank. And AI functions are not only for search. Amit told you about the powerful forecast function which uses Google's Times FM and can make predictions about the future based on historic operational data that you have in your database. New this year, analyze sentiment AI function and summarize AI function. We also have optimized AI functions beginning with support for AI.if. This provides superior performance and about 1,000 times cost reduction over the default baseline LLM calls. This enables you to use AI.if at scale. What is the business impact of these innovations? I'm going to use Target.com as an example. Target.com was looking to enhance their online search experience. They used AlloyDB and the scan index to optimize searches, including dynamic SQL filters on complex data types. They reported enhancing the relevance of their customer searches by 20% by bringing this workload to AlloyDB and using the functionalities that we saw. They also got top performance for the filter search queries, far exceeding anything that could be achieved by integrating manually a relational database with a purpose-built vector search engine. As a result, Target.com moved their entire search traffic to AlloyDB. We believe that Target.com is ahead of the curve. Many organizations are still treating holistic search, which includes structured data, vectors, text search, as an application-level problem for their search teams. We think, however, that as people see the results and business outcomes that come by combining different modalities right in the database, they will quickly follow Target.com's example. Second AI native database, Spanner. It's building on its global scale and multimodal abilities for mission-critical AI. It is excelling on the fifth component of AI search, graphs. Graphs capture the relationships among the entities in your database. And graph search, you may have heard of it as graph RAG in the context of agentic programming. The search pattern where hybrid search is coupled with the graph search ability to get results based on their relationships. At this point, you may worry, but I have my data in SQL. Do I need to create a graph copy? No, you don't. The graph model is virtual and layered over your SQL model. So, in conclusion, we saw how Google Cloud's AI native databases, AlloyDB and Spanner, enable a unified approach where SQL queries understand logic, language, and relationships by combining these AI primitives. The net effect, these queries can feed your agents the most accurate and relevant information. So now let's switch to the second pillar, the data agent platform. The second pillar of how AI native databases can give your agents the most accurate and secure and relevant data. So far we have been talking about SQL queries with powerful AI primitives, but nevertheless SQL queries. And as Amit said, natural language is the new protocol for human-to-agent and agent-to-agent communication. And here is the 10-mile high problem. Your database still speaks SQL and will continue speaking SQL for many good reasons. And here is the 10-mile high solution. The data agent platform combines data plus Gen AI to bridge the gap between natural language and SQL. This allows you to unlock accurate real-time agentic experiences with your data. When we go, however, below the 10-mile high point, the promise of generative AI clashes with the unforgiving nature of production-ready database agentic applications. This creates a massive gap between a simple demo and a reliable production-ready agentic application. Bridging a natural language request to SQL faces multiple challenges. The accuracy gap. Many database agentic applications need near 100% accuracy. The security gap. We see lack of in-database granular access control, forcing developers to either limit the scope of their agents and/or to build custom security layers from the ground up. And that adds to the general manual scaffolding burden, and we must help you to focus on valuable application features rather than creating scaffolding and guardrail and security guardrails. So, if you are to remember one thing about the data agent platform is this. It enables developers to build agents that get secure, near 100% accurate text to SQL from the database. And it's integration ready via MCP that we will be talking more later. The data agent platform consists of two layers. First, a set of configurable tools that provide to your agents secure and accurate text to SQL. And second, an infrastructure layer that helps you hill climb to 100% accuracy and ensures that attackers do not get access to other end users' private data. Query data is the first tool that we released. Here you see it in action. the end user, or likely the agent, asks how much money did I spend yesterday, and on the other end comes the SQL query that does exactly this. Query data uses Gemini and your unique database context to help you reach near 100% accuracy. How does it enable you to reach that high level of accuracy? Its unique ingredient is that it combines 3 types of context: schema ontologies that describe the schema, query blueprints that allow you to inject your own nuanced interpretation for particular questions and particular question fragments, and finally, value searches that allow you to disambiguate the question against the full data of your database. Look in our blog and stay tuned for our upcoming white papers and code labs for more. As Amit shared earlier, I am thrilled to announce that we have been occupying the top 1 spot on text-to-SQL benchmark, and this benchmark is using only the schema ontologies. As I told you, we can do all the way to 100% by also using query blueprints and value searches. Now, the data agent platform, remember, it is accurate, secure, and the infrastructure helps you engineer and evaluate context on your journey to 100% accuracy. And it is also integration ready, as Amit will discuss later. I would like to spend a little time on the parameterized secure views, the feature behind security. This is a deterministic security guardrail. Going back to my question, notice that the SQL query did not refer to the table user charges, because a smart attacker could manipulate the query to get to other users' data. Rather, it used a parameterized secure view. This is deterministic security guardrail because the view provides to the agent only the current end user's data. It is a virtual view, so it is very efficient as well. So please go ahead, use query data to power your agentic applications. There are many details that I see the clock running out, and I'm not going to describe, but I have a recommendation. 2 hours from now, Hughes Network Systems will be describing how they overhauled their customer support operations by data agents that combine ADK, MCP toolbox, and query data. And I'm giving back to Amit for more on MCP.
Wonderful tool of AI-native databases and the data agents. Maybe there's one quick thing I would like to just remind us again that really tickles me when I see this, which is what he showed you is you can write a single query, or even better, because natural language is the language of agents, maybe you can ask a natural language question to the conversational data platform and ask the questions like, hey, show me a forecast of sales for all red shoes. Now, this is a tricky question because red shoes isn't something in the database because there are many types of red shoes. So what it does is it will do a vector search on red shoes to find the appropriate rows that are similarity matched with the phrase red shoes. Once it gets those rows and identifies those keys, then it will fetch the time series corresponding to each of those products, feed those time series into the Times FM forecasting model, and actually give you a projection. Notice that you're getting so many layers of AI integration completely out of the box using our agentic data cloud. You're getting an agent at the agentic layer. You have models, the forecasting model and the natural language Gemini model integrated into the SQL layer. And in fact, this query will run both on an ARM chip for most of the database work, as well as the inference work for those AI agents will actually invoke TPUs. So just imagine that, like your database application is leveraging the full power of Google Cloud's integrated AI platform. With that, you probably heard Yannis mention a couple of times how we have taken the effort to ensure that virtually every capability that you saw earlier in AI native databases and our data agent platform is activated using MCP. So even if you get an agent from us, we go to extra lengths to ensure that it's exposed and surfaced via MCP so that when you build your own agents, your agents have the full superpowers that we have created at their fingertips. Now, our strategy at Google has been multifold around MCP. First, we have fully managed MCP servers that activate all of data cloud resources from, and I'll go into that in a little bit more detail in a bit. The second is, I mentioned this earlier, we have a very popular open source project called MCP Toolbox. And third, beyond tools, we are heavily involved in the steering committees for MCP together with Anthropic to help evolve and advance the MCP protocol itself for the whole industry. Our managed MCP servers are zero-ops ways for agents to use GCP resources. They simplify discovery. They provide enhanced data protection through model armor. They provide observability. And most importantly, they enable governance in your enterprise. Because MCP opens agents to the entire surface of Google Cloud, our strong built-in governance capabilities in cloud around controls and visibility of which MCP servers have been activated is invaluable in deploying agents into production. Now, we have taken a very comprehensive approach towards MCP. Virtually every service in Data Cloud, which includes every service in databases, virtually every service in analytics and in storage, all these services are now available through MCP to your agents. For example, the Postgres database in Cloud SQL is available through MCP. AlloyDB is available through MCP. And when I say available, you can provision the database. You can execute SQL against the database. You can execute vector search against the database. And you can do observability. You can ask the database questions about, hey, what are my slowest queries and why are they slow? You can do this all using your favorite agents, be it Claude Code, Gemini CLI, or VS Code, or any of these variants. And most importantly, all of this is zero ops. You simply take your agent, point it to our central MCP server, and it goes on from there in exploring and accessing your cloud resources. The open source MCP toolbox for databases is now available as a stable 1.0 version, reflecting the broad adoption of MCP toolbox with 14,000 GitHub stars and more than 100 contributors from around the world. The toolbox supports over 40 data sources, both first-party data sources from Google, open source and third-party products, as well as popular databases such as Oracle and MongoDB. What developers really love about our open source toolbox is its ability to bridge AI agents and databases securely while providing the ability for users to customize and extend MCP to include their own business logic and business data models. With that, it is my distinct honor to host a fireside chat with David Soria Parra from Anthropic, the co-creator of MCP. Please give him a hand. David, it is really great to have you here. Now, before we get started, I want to first thank you for your pioneering work in creating MCP, something that is enabling thousands of us Google, as well as our enterprise customers, making use of data and other tools together with their agents. So David, let's get started with a few questions.
Yep.
MCP has become really popular amongst developers for building agentic applications. What were the primary factors contributing to its growing adoption?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. In my mind, at the time, the ecosystem, and still now, the ecosystem is in a need for having a connective tissue, a connective layer between the AI applications or the frontier models and the data and the systems that power the enterprises. Because in the end of the day, people do not want to rebuild the Gemini application or Claude over and over again, but instead take their data and their workflows to these systems, and they want to build these integration not 10 times, they want to build them once. That's it's a classic N times M problem, and that's where a protocol like MCP comes in. In so many ways, as we're seeing more and more companies going through AI transformation, you see an increased need for this kind of connectivity, and so that's why MCP is still growing. Secondly, I think we have built MCP in a way that it makes it fairly easy in my mind, to build MCP servers, to integrate them. And so it's a very easy thing for people to go and take their company systems and connect them to the frontier models using something like MCP.
That resonates with us really well because we are in the data world. And as you know, in the data world, about 50 years ago, the SQL language was invented, yes. Right? And that really transformed the way people build applications. And I do remember the time before MCP when you had to do one-off integration, like N by M problem, and it feels like MCP kind of created a similar moment for connecting models with data and tools. Now, David, we have spent a lot of time today talking about Google Cloud Databases strategy around AI-native databases and how building vector search, hybrid search, these really cool AI operators that invoke TPUs. Like we have done a lot of that integration in here versus a strategy where simply AI is simply like a wrapper around data. Would love to get your thoughts on how you see this is different compared to other ways of doing the integration.
Yeah, I think when you think about like what agents really want, like agents are really good, or like models are really good at selecting data or from an input, but getting to that first layer of input is actually really difficult. And so having something built into a database that supports like the complicated things that are vector search and keyword search, and combining these in hybrid ways and having these additional AI operators really helps people to give agents already like the tool set for them to go and search what they need to do, and then do the final selection. That's, I think, different from like how we have done traditionally as humans databases, where we were carefully crafting SQL over and over for that one perfect query. But agents are really good at selecting vaster, bigger amounts of data and then searching through them by themselves and giving them the tools and giving them these indexes that are, again, like complicated to build to their fingertips. I think is a really good way to work through like sifting through company data as people need. In many ways, when we started with geospatial data, we added GIS indexes to the databases, and later when we added documents, we added document-specific data things to the databases. And so in a way, I think this is similar in that having these native tools directly in databases will just enable a new set of capabilities and agents to go and select the right things that they need to do to get to work through the tasks that they've been given.
Since agents are there for the service of users, if we can make agents have more superpowers, I guess we all benefit more from it.
And they thrive in data, right? That's what they want. They churn through data, and they're very good at that part, but getting that connectivity part is the key part.
Yes, that's right. Okay, great, fantastic. How do you think the integration of Google Cloud Databases and MCP benefits our customers?
When you really think about some of the Google databases, they power some of the biggest businesses in the world. And so, we are at Anthropic use AlloyDB, for example, and having this being available to us in an open protocol that we can then use to connect it and ground our workflows in the data that we have at these database systems, I think is really helping a great deal us as a customers and others, of course, as well, to then go ahead and build interesting things with that. In addition, if you really build these things in an open way, you still get on the database side the deep integration into enterprise-grade security, IAMs, and other parts that you like, and that's why you use something like an AlloyDB or similar patterns. And so I think it just enables people to mix and match with what the systems on the other side that they require, but still don't lose the power why they came to your platform in the first place, right? Which is having large-scale databases that just going to run. Then, of course, in addition, you have some of the smartest engineers in the database business working at Google, and having them come up with new innovative ideas like security aspects in the SQL queries, I think helps a great deal to move to help people build more secure agentic systems.
I really liked, I think, what you mentioned about the security. Like, it almost feels like a balance of power between giving the most tools to the agents while still having guardrails, security guardrails, so that they can thrive, but only within the bounds of what they're allowed to.
Absolutely, and these guardrails are getting increasingly important. Because enterprises do deeply care about the data that's flowing through the system.
We do, indeed. Looking ahead to the rest of 26 and beyond, what are some of the most exciting things in the future of MCP and agentic AI?
For MCP, I think there's a lot of really cool things that are coming down the line, both on the roadmap. One of the big things that I think will enable another layer of capabilities is we're going to make it possible to serve skills over MCP servers, so that people that offer MCP servers can also offer domain-specific knowledge for these MCP server informal skills. In addition, we're going to work on long-running tasks, which is super interesting to really enable more agentic behavior. And then really lastly, we're working and really making MCP a bit more ready for all aspects in enterprises. But what I'm really the most excited about, and I think you alluded a little bit to that, is I think MCP is one of these rare open source communities where the industry comes together across Google, across Anthropic, across other of our competitors, and they work together on a common standard in a very hopefully good way to elevate the overarching ecosystem for everyone.
Indeed. That is incredible. Thank you very much, David. It was so great to have you here for the Fireside Chat. And again, thank you for all your contributions in MCP. Now you heard about how we have AI-native databases and how we have a data agent platform for you to build these agents. Now you may be wondering if Google has been utilizing these tools to build our own agents out of the box for you. And let's go through that next. We have talked about AI-native databases, but when you combine them with pre-built data agents and tools, they become even more powerful. So I'm thrilled to share that we have built a comprehensive suite of agents for you to use. And that spans every single role connected with data. It's the builders who, for example, get a tool like onboarding to decide which database to use, how to architect your system. It is operators of databases. You may have to troubleshoot a slow-running query, for example, all the way to business users. That includes folks like business analysts who would love to get access to real-time data, all the way to maybe a factory shop floor worker who wants to look through maintenance records and do some analysis on the defects that they're seeing with some machines. So let's quickly dive into it. First, we have recently launched this week and announced the Data Agent Kit. It's an ecosystem-led developer experience that includes agentic skills that David mentioned, MCP servers like MCP Toolbox, as well as extensions created specifically for Data Cloud. That's a great way for you to start with this package and get started. We are also taking our flagship AI Studio vibe coding platform and building in its support for databases natively. Today, we have already launched Firestore as an underlying database for you to build apps using AI Studio. And stay tuned for Cloud SQL for Postgres support coming soon. We have a database observability agent that automates heavy lifting of database management. Powered by Gemini, it transforms millions of complex data points into clear, actionable insights. We have extended that to include Database Center as well, so that you can get real-time insights on your entire database estate on cloud. We know change management is really important to you. To help with that, we are introducing a database testing agent that automatically tests performance impact of changes that you may make to your database. They could be application changes, they could be configuration changes, and this testing agent summarize the differences of performance between your pre-update configuration and your post-update configuration. Now, in addition to the agents for builders and agents for operators, I'm thrilled to share that 2 weeks back, we launched our conversational analytics agent. I personally find working with the conversational analytics agent a magical experience. I simply go to the Cloud Console, go to the place where you have the agents, have the agent point to one of my operational database, and start conversing with it. You can have a lot of fun doing it, but most importantly, this is unlocking access to real-time operational databases to all your business analysts, to all your business users. Like I said, even someone working on an assembly line can now securely, using parameterized secure views that Yannis spoke about, query using the conversational data agent questions they have about maintenance records or do other useful agentic workflows. Here's a great example of Amar from EchoStar, who has already taken the conversational analytics agent, deployed in production, and seeing compelling advantages from using it in production. As we reach the conclusion of this session, I want to recap how we are enabling you to create these trusted high-value agents to transform every aspect of your business. With the 3 pillars we spoke about in Agentic Data Cloud, the AI-native databases, where we have brought state-of-the-art AI seamlessly integrated into your data, our data agent platform with the most comprehensive and highest quality tools for agents, including natural language interface to data, and our suite of powerful pre-built agents that you can deploy at all your users directly today. I invite you to continue your journey with a few deep dive sessions that are coming up. Yannis mentioned the session that he has at 2:45, which is a discussion group, and there are a number of additional sessions. You can take a picture and try to go to a few of these, where you will be able to continue your journey learning more about Agentic Data Cloud. These are 2 offers I wanted to quickly highlight that I think are worth noting. There's the RAMP program. This offer enables you to migrate and modernize your data estate with expert-led support, and the data strategy workshop, where you can take what you learned today in this session to the next step of planning and acting on it in your enterprise. I want to sincerely thank you for your time today. The transition of databases from being just a place where you store data to AI-native systems that power the future of agentic era is a shift that we'll see once in a generation. And I can't wait to see how you are going to take what we shared with you today and lead the charge in leveraging AI in your own enterprise. Your insights are invaluable to us, so please take a moment to share your feedback through the mobile app. We're just getting started on our journey of turning data into autonomous, intelligent systems, and I look forward to our continued partnership and having you as a customer leveraging AI as you take a step to the next generation of agentic systems.